Flipping Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. Hopefully that was caught. So I got a question from Brian. Could you explain what to say after you get a verbal agreement on the phone? Do you ask them to get an attorney to write the contract? Do you tell them that you will contact your attorney to write up the contract? Can your attorney represent both parties? There's a lot of questions here, Brian. I'm going to answer them all. Woohoo! So, first of all, when you get a verbal agreement on the phone or in person, the next step is for the seller to engage an attorney, or if he has an attorney already engaged, then to prepare the contract. So a couple of things. Seller's attorney has to draw up the contract. That's just standard procedure. You can't contact my attorney to write up the contract. It doesn't come from the buyer, it comes from the seller. Although once in a while you get some dud attorney who needs it. Can your attorney represent both parties? Absolutely not. An attorney can never represent both sides of a transaction. Now, an attorney can represent a buyer and a lender, but an attorney cannot represent a buyer and a seller. That is an inherent conflict of interest, obviously. The whole idea of using attorneys in New York State is confusing. No shit, it's really. I mean, listen, it's what I was in the mortgage business for 17 years till 2013. So I'm just used to having attorneys. But when I speak to people from other states, I understand it's very confusing. So the process is seller's attorney has to draw up the contract. Now, there is a gap there that deals can die in that gap. That is true. So you have to be, I'd say, as proactive as possible. So you could say something like, listen, if you don't have an attorney, I can recommend one. The idea of not using an attorney is, and I've done a bunch of videos on it, I think is a mistake. I did a few deals without an attorney. A lot of the crap that falls on the seller's attorney is going to fall on you. So you've got to understand, because we're not in a title company state, the title company does not clear title here. They're straight up service providers, and any title issues fall on the seller's attorney to clear. So something as simple as getting a payoff for an open mortgage, or getting some kind of old title policy to clear something that shows up on a previous owner, that is what the seller's attorney does. So if you get a situation where, and I've had these, and I thought they would, I dreamed of them, right? You better be careful what you wish for. You dream of a deal with no attorneys. Oh God, I wish. And then you get them, and then you realize you got what you don't want, right? What is it? You can want what you get, but you might not get what you want. I don't know what the hell. So the way it works is that a lot of responsibility falls on the seller's attorney to clear title, to prepare a checklist, a list of the checks, where they're going to get dispersed to get any payoffs on liens or mortgages. If there is no seller's attorney, your attorney's probably not going to do it. And even if you tell him do it, he's probably not going to remember when you get to closing. Remember, this is a long process in New York. It's a slog. So you may tell your attorney, hey, there's no seller's attorney. Let's get a very strongly worded affidavit that says that they know they're not being represented, and then you take care of the seller's attorney. I can tell you by the time 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks later, when the deal's about to close, your attorney's never going to remember that, and he's just going to be like every other transaction. Well, the seller's attorney's going to take care of that. Oh, there is no seller's attorney. Shit, we're screwed. And that's what happened to me. I had a situation where we needed death certificates because they had inherited the property, and day before the closing, they're like, we can't close, we don't have a death certificate. And I had to go scramble, and I had to get a death certificate. It was a waste of 4 hours of my time. Luckily, somebody had them. Another situation, they had the sellers, it was a brother-sister, they had told me that we want everything split 50-50. And I'm like, okay. And then we get to closing 8 weeks later, and there's one check at the closing. And they're furious. We told you everything should be split 50-50. I'm like, Now, and if there was a seller's attorney, he would have just told the assignee, I signed the deal, hey, the checks have to go. These are the two checks. One check to brother, one check to sister. It would have been fine. So these are the kinds of things that show up when there's no seller's attorney, just because of the way things work in New York. But in general, the process is seller's attorney prepares the contract. Now, there are a bunch of things you should say to the seller after they agree to the price. First is, now, if you want to wholesale the property, you need to talk about showing the property. So you want to plant that seed, right? There's 3 seeds you want to plant if you want to wholesale property. Number 1 is showing it, right? You're not going to make as much money if you can't show a property. Sorry. I just posted something today. Property's condemned. People can't get in. I'm already getting pushback from people. I need to get inside. It's disaster inside. So You want to show the inside of a property if you can. So seller's there or tenant's there, whatever it is. So this is what I say to seller. I say, listen, Mr. Seller, I want construction to start the day we close. The only way for me to get that to happen is if I can get some contractors and some potential buyers in there. They go, potential buyers. I go, yes. I have people who've told me that they want my next flip. And what I do is I bring them into the house, and you know that the 2 bedrooms upstairs are small. I got to ask them, should I combine it to 1 bedroom? Do I need to make that half bathroom on the first floor a full bathroom? These are obviously specific things to the property. And I say I only can get that information if I get feedback from buyers. So I need an hour. It's going to be like crazy pandemonium. There might be 50 people there. There might be 10. I don't know how many of my contractors are going to show up, or how many of the people on my potential buyers list for whatever city you're in are going to show. So can we schedule an hour? So that's the first seed you want to plant, right? Second thing you want to plant is, listen, I just want to say that your attorney may ask you, for 10, they may want to ask me for 10% EMD, earnest money deposit. Now I'm paying you $300,000 for the house. I do a lot of transactions, and I can tell you if I put 10% down on each deal, I'd be out of business. I know, I'm sure you'll understand that. So, and this one I'm just going to put $5,000 down if that's okay. Whatever, pick a number, $3,000. That's number 2. The third seed you need to plant is, listen, I borrow a lot of private money from people that lend me, family, friends, and I really, some of these guys are a little nuts, and they very often want me to move a property before closing, sometimes an hour before closing, into some entity, self-directed IRA, self-directed 401k account. They won't need me to move it to something else because they're tax advisor in Puerto Rico told them that. So I want to make sure you get your money on the day you close. Therefore, I need the contract to be assignable. All that means is that I can switch it to a different entity if I need to. You plant those 3 seeds. That's what you tell the sellers after they agree. Now, everything I just said is going in the seller's head and out, except maybe the showing, because then they may have to actually let you in the house or talk to the tenant about it. But what happens is their attorney is going to send your attorney a standard contract. That's going to ask for 10% EMD. It's not going to have any language about showing, and it's going to not be assignable, because standard contracts in New York have clause 26. It says no assignability. That's standard. What happens then is your attorney is going to say, hey, parties discussed it, needs to be assignable. We're giving $5,000 deposit instead of 30, and we just want something in a rider saying that we can show the property 1 or 2 times. Seller's attorney is going to call his client and go, what the hell is with this guy? Or these guys ask for this. And that's when the seller is going to remember the seeds that you planted and say, yeah, it's fine. And then sometimes the attorney will go, that's too little money. I don't want to do it for 5,000. Let's take 10. We got to ask for 10. Something significant that could happen. It's a negotiation. But some attorneys don't care. But by planting those seeds with the seller's mind, it allows for a much better conversation later. Where the seller says, yeah, I remember we spoke about that stuff. And then the seller goes, okay. Or the seller's attorney usually goes, okay. Or the attorney goes, what? Who are these guys? What's the story? So you want to be clear about those things. They're important. But as a standard procedure works with attorneys, seller's attorney always prepares a contract. As to closing, it always takes place in the seller's attorney's office, unless there's a lender, in which case it takes place in the lender's attorney's office. That's just standard procedure. And of course, there's exceptions. Sometimes the seller's attorney won't have any room in their office. Sometimes the seller doesn't have it. Seller's attorney doesn't have an office. So it might close in a buyer's attorney's office, but usually that's where it takes place. So that's standard process in New York. It's a pain in the ass. If you haven't done business deals in New York, it's something that seems crazy. I understand. It's much harder to get into contract, but there is a huge converse advantage to it. It's impossible for a seller to get out of contract, right? In other states, it's very easy to get into contract. Somebody changes their mind, they're out of contract. Oh, but I recorded a memorandum of contract. That doesn't do shit. I mean, sometimes it'll cloud title, sometimes it won't. It doesn't mean the guy can't sell it to somebody else. It doesn't mean the guy can sit on it. In New York, if a guy reneges on you, he's fucked. You can file a list pendants on him, just like a regular foreclosure, and he'll never sell it to anybody else. And you can sue him for specific performance, which means he's going to lose a huge judgment to you. And they all know that because there's an attorney. So in New York, you can really compel a seller to sell to you. I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any media channel, please get the thumbs up. Please keep the questions coming. This came from Brian. Thank you very much. I post 5 times a week. I don't always know what I'm going to say. Very often I have no idea what I'm going to say. Your questions help me by giving me topics to think about, and also by giving me questions to answer. And that's the point of this channel, is to give you answers and help you as much as I can. So thank you very, very much for watching. I really appreciate it. We've been seeing a lot more people watching the video. So thank you. Share my channel. I give away basically every single thing I know for free. For free. It's all there, right? Anybody. And I think I'm the only guy who's actively flipping and wholesaling in New York and who teaches how to do it. I think I'm the only guy who does that. So feel free. And again, we're still running a special on need to sell my house fast leads, great leads anywhere in the country. If you use my affiliate code, which I'll put in there, and you buy leads from them, I promise to give you time to help you with the leads, which I will reiterate, I think is the greatest offer in the history of mankind. Thank you very, very much for watching.